and welcome back. Now, you've already gone through the brief introduction here, and I'm here to go ahead and start you down the path of the CIA's history. It is a long and illustrious history, so I'm only going to hit a few key points with you. Your instructors will, of course, go into finer detail with the ins and outs of the agency over the years. We're just hitting the highlights. Few people know this, but the CIA was actually founded in 1777 by the shadow government that still runs this country to this day. That's right, folks, the president is not the president. Our primary objective when we were originally created was regicide. That's right, we were originally created to kill the King of England. Of course, this turned out to be kind of a high goal at the time for such a fledgling nation. So, after our brief foray in trying to commit regicide, we decided to change our focus from trying to topple governments through assassinations to trying to do complete regime changes. Our first foray into this was the French Revolution. Now, the key to any successful revolution is to make sure you have the people on your side. People are gullible and ignorant, and they'll follow any person you put out in front of them to make sure they get what they want. So we followed that formula to try to topple the monarchy of France and bring democracy to the people. They have hated us since then, but that's quite alright, because they have the right to. Now, after the French Revolution, we kind of hit a stalemate. There was no other nation out there doing what we were doing. So we needed to create an enemy, a common foe for everyone to focus around. Now, we saw the possibility of this in Russia. The Russian government did have a lock on the whole Fabergé egg market, and American consumers were looking to get their hands on those things. You better believe it. Valuable commodity, fledgling government. We learned our lesson. Using the teachings of some new upstart by the name of Karl Marx, we planted a few seeds of dissent amongst a few political groups. And that took off in a big way during the October Revolution, thus bringing communism to Russia. Now, we did misgauge that a little bit. We figured communism would be kind of a flash in the pan thing. They'd be wiped out, and we can instill a new puppet regime in order to get those precious Fabergé eggs to us. And then from there, work out a deal with the Russian government to kind of get a sparring thing going on. This did blow up in our face a little bit, and the Soviet Union was born. But in every bit of darkness, there is a silver lining. The Soviet Union was a bit paranoid, and they spent millions and millions and millions of whatever they called money to try to figure out our secrets and figure out what we were doing. This was a great boon for the CIA, and we got to spend billions of taxpayer dollars making sure those evil Reds weren't going to come riding into our living rooms. Thus, the golden age of the CIA was born. Now, a little bit after that, another little, we don't like to call it a snafu, but another little thing happened, you see. Up to that point, the CIA had been very much a boys' club. We had some retarded cousins from the Ozarks who wanted to get in on our racket. We, of course, couldn't have that in the CIA, and thus the FBI was born. And we continued to control the FBI for a number of years. We had our fingers in their little sticky pots and making sure they were doing all the right things. And of course, to make sure that the FBI had as low a profile as possible, we instilled the most ridiculous person we could find, J. Edgar Hoover. We knew he was a crossdresser. I'd like to thank you again for joining us here at the CIA. And remember, you can always contact me through our website at unclesecretagent.com, where I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. I'll go ahead and toss it back to your instructor now so they can go ahead and continue on with the lesson. You have a